Well, hello again. Welcome aboard to WOR. This is the Legacy Division, and we are back again. Qualifying round, season number 8. We are here to what has been a little bit of a weird set of events as we adapt ourselves to the F1 26 game. Rather, F1 26 DLC. Myself and Adam Bobbitt, so we're taking you now through the next 3 rounds of some pretty intense qualifying ahead of us. We have got, as I said, 3 rounds ahead of us here, Adam, and one thing is for certain, not a clear sort of set of events are happening ahead of us here, because only one team automatically qualified last time out, of course, the reigning champions of Team Shazoo, the Shazoo Seeders Igniters. But now moving on into the next set of rounds, 10 spots available at the disposal of these teams if they qualify tonight.
Certainly is, and everything is all up for grabs for these drivers and their teams that they're representing. Obviously, we've got some welcome returns of teams that have been here, pretty much throughout the entirety, and even some new teams that are even, trying to get their foot into the Legacy Division. Obviously, they've got to, see what they can do. Like I said, qualify for the main event. It starts in 3 weeks' time on August 25th. But yeah, this is where it's make or break time for these drivers. 3 or 4 laps here around the Miami International Circuit. I mean, it's not my favourite track. I'm sure hopefully it might be some of these drivers' favourite laps. But yes, Lobby 1, 6 teams. Who are we looking out for, though, Jota, is the question.
Yeah, certainly looking forward to seeing how the returning teams are going to fare. And we're in Lobby 1 at the moment. Of course, Tatum Restec, ET8 and IRT looking to try and get back into the Legacy Division, as are GT10 for that matter. Vilvendi making a return to the qualifiers here alongside the Angry Sharks for Lobby number 1. In just a few minutes' time, about half an hour's time, we'll be heading over to Lobby 2, TRS, Fastest Stay True. There is the Future Racing team as well, alongside all the other co-compatriots trying to take part in this particular event. And then Lobby 3, of course, you've got Valaris, who are going to be in there alongside HLR, AERT, WRL, FVR, and NGO. But first, as we said, we're back to Lobby number 1. Tatum Restec, GT10, ET8, Vilvinde, and then IRT and ASRT. Initial indications suggesting Tatum Restec, ET8, IRT should be at least on the front foot. But one thing is for certain, it's not that clear cut, because it's been a little bit of a monster of an off-season with plenty of chopping and changing all around.
Certainly has been. Drivers just going left, right and centre from one team to another, whether it fits to a rival team from their previous predecessors, as it were, or just trying something different, a new team perhaps, and just to get their foot in the stronghold, let's say. But I'm certainly excited to see for this new season what these drivers can bring. As our first driver, Gabza, coming through the end of the middle sector through turn 16 and a bit of a wobble through 13, 14 and 15. But these are just early indications of these drivers. Just make sure they get a lap time on the board, and then as we know, try to improve on that in the final 15 minutes here of qualifying, Jota. But even though we have the likes of GT10, for example, and this, it's anyone's game.
Yeah, it certainly is as well, of course. So if you are not familiar with the qualifiers, quick reminder of the rules, as we do see the first lap time of Season 8. So courtesy of Vilvinde coming across the line with Gabza. Angry Sharks coming a little bit further behind, though, by a couple of tenths. If you're just getting used to it, the situation report is as follows. All of the drivers will be taking part in a qualifying event over the next 18 minutes. There is no racing tonight. It's all going to be about pure lap pace, and whether the drivers, like TRT has just done there with Thomas, and just keeping an eye out as well on the other Angry Shark. They need to put their lap times together, and they'll add them all together to make a final lap time, for which that will be their qualifying lap time and the seed that they will carry through to season number 8. Every qualifying team will get a seed, of course, because there's only 10 spots available here for the 11 teams that, of course, are available within the WR Legacy Division. Of course, anyone from 12th onwards, or 11th onwards, really, when you take into account Shazoo's obviously automatic qualification. Anyone from 11th downwards, of course, will be put into the reserve pot. So if one of the teams end up dropping out, they will get first pickings of managing to get through for a mid-season switch out. Just following at the moment, Grand Track 10 at the moment, 125.6, a little bit off the pace at the moment from the sort of standards that you would expect from Grand Track 10, the French outfit, looking to get on top, but at the moment looking fairly sharp at the moment for Semi at the moment, looking pretty decent with a 25.0.
Indeed, yeah, pretty solid lap there from Sem. I thought Thomas's lap actually might have been even better when I was on board with him, but no, Sem pipped him by just over a tenth of a second. But the main thing, at least for the 9 drivers, is they have a lap time on the board. 3 drivers invalidating or having a mistake at some points, one of which is Nat Burney, who is just the first driver onto his second out lap. Loving the pink and green livery, kind of works kind of well, but we're not here about the liveries, we're here about the fast 1 lap pace action that these guys can bring. And sometimes, you know, see, this was my thing, Jot, I don't know if it was for you, but 1 lap pace was my downfall. I was more of a race merchant, so if I was to do this, I certainly wouldn't be the first at the front of the queue to be doing it for my respective team.
Yeah, back in my day when I was behind the wheel of some of these cars, it wasn't qualifying pace for me either. It wasn't race pace either, if I'm honest with you. So yes, I just drove the car, if I'm perfectly honest. Keeping it high out.
Don't dishearten yourself
No, well, that's the reason. That's the reason why I shout down a microphone nowadays. Keeping an eye out, though, of course, on the 3 drivers yet to set a lap at the moment. That's Angry Sharks Racing Team there in Sebi. We've also got Vilvendi as well yet to set both of their lap times. We're on board with the final driver, though, looking to just try and get a lap time on the board for his team as he's now heading his way down towards the final couple of corners. Bit clumsy set of corners that he's just come out of, to be fair, at Miami. Really, look, I've got to be candid with you. Really glad that this is not making an appearance on the calendar. It's only the qualifying track, because I absolutely detest this circuit, both to race and to commentate on, if I'm honest with you. So it's going to be interesting to see what the 1 lap pace is going to be like, though, at this circuit. We're just going to follow Zagrova as he now heads his way across to the start-finish line to get on with the lap. Let's follow on board and let's let good old Bobbert take you on a lap as he approaches turn 1.
Indeed, yes, this 19 corner circuit, some of them which aren't really even corners, but through the first few corners we go. Seems the car seems pretty stable as we get onto the overtake boost mode as we can. Coming into the end of this first sector, but we've cut it a bit too much there, unfortunately, through turns 4 and 5, and unfortunately for Zagova, that is his lap up and done. But he's going to have to just get himself back up to, well, back in the pits, or if he's got enough tyres to go again. His teammate, at least, sorry, or Nat Burney, I should say, sorry, coming at the end of the middle sector, supposedly purple, 1:06 at the end of that second split. Again, take that with a pinch of salt. We keep saying this every single time, both on 25 and it's in DLC 26 that, yeah, drivers not necessarily set purple lap times or purple sectors even. We'll just wait until they come across the start-finish line, though, through turns 18 and 19 for Nat Burney. He's at least a valid lap time, and it puts him P4 for the time being, but a good quarter of a second of Semi's initial banker lap.
Yes, and 300ths down on one of your favourite drivers in Prentice Donato as well. Here as well, Bobbert, as just following on board with him on an out lap as well here. Decent running potential here for Prentice Donato, a driver that we've been keeping a very firm eye out on in the last season of Legacy. He is also a driver that's just started to make some inroads here and could be a little bit of a wild card here as he now heads his way towards the final corner now. He's going to get going with his lap as well. Whilst we've got other lap times on the board, Seaberg comes across the line, ASRT 1:25.7, well off the pace for the Angry Shark standard as he now goes through towards turn 1 and opens up straight mode.
It certainly does, yeah. But not the best of lap times there for Sebi, 25.7. Slowest of the times to have been set so far, so certainly got a lot to find. When it's going to be coming back into pits, obviously he's not got the battery life to go again. Zagova does indeed go back into the pits. 2 runs, 2 invalidations, so hopefully he can improve on that, but he's certainly given himself not an easy task going into the second half of this first qualifying session. Gab's currently in P5 at the moment. He's actually 2 tenths down on his previous initial banker lap time, and he's actually invalidated. He's going into the pits. Simrox 1 is invalidated. So, yeah, very difficult track this is to keep it within these white lines. Drivers seem to be, or at least in his first lobby, finding it quite difficult.
Yeah, certainly finding a little bit of difficulty here at the moment for them. Giving me an opportunity to just do a quick shout out to TRT, by the way, because what a lineup they've decided to field here tonight as well. They've decided to bring on, you know, the clear talent of Pierre Charpentier, and then of course Thomas for both of the TRT drivers, but their reserve driver was Kevin Zumberg. So they've decided to throw everything and the kitchen sink at this qualifying event here tonight, and so far somewhat decent at the moment for Thomas. Second place at the moment. Hespridis Donato, though, the driver with the NXT tag coming across the line as he goes then to second place and beats Thomas to the line. Another one within the 25 ones.
Indeed, yeah, getting quite close towards the top here, but Semi is actually just coming out the final couple of corners himself, and he's on an improvement. Could it be dipping into the 124s here? Is he the first driver to do that? Indeed, he is, just about. 24.962, and just gets that 10th.5 gap back again that he pretty much had after the first one. So Semi, these early stages looking pretty strong, it has to be said, and has quite a buffer over everybody else. But yes, yeah, so the likes of Simbarox 1, Nico, Yules, Sebi, and especially Zagova, who has not set a lap time yet. He's back out on track again. Need to get their skates on a little bit, because he's all good doing all the practice that they have done for this. It matters obviously in these 18 minutes that they have here, and they can't bottle it. That's why I got the nickname of Bottle Job. Let's hope none of these get the same treatment.
Well, I'm really liking the look at the moment, as I said, of TRT with 25-1, 25-2 respectively at the moment for them in 3rd and 4th place. Remember, this is a qualifying event, so it's all about the pure lap time. Don't worry about the position of the drivers. It's all going to be about setting the fastest lap possible, and it literally could be hundredths of a second that separates whether you're in or out of WR Legacy Season number 8. Keeping on by with Vilvendi's Gabza at the moment. He's on an out lap at the moment as well. P7 for him. His teammate Nat Burney at the moment down up in P5 with a 25-2. So Gabza gets, finds another couple of tenths here. VMV are going to be knocking on the door of sort of TRT pace here.
Yeah, both of them, yeah, like I said, needs fan maybe 10th or 2 perhaps, and can certainly knock on the door for maybe, 2nd, 3rd best team in this lobby, but, with the likes of the other teams that are still to come in the 2nd and 3rd lobbies, you've got to at least probably think, top 2 in here, and you stand a real good chance of pretty much guaranteeing yourself going through. If you're likes of 3rd or 4th, then you're going to be looking over your shoulders, and you're going to be on the edge of your seat, just thinking, what's everybody else going to be doing. But as Zagova, like I said, the final driver still yet to set a lap time. He's currently on a valid lap time as it currently stands, 1:05 at the end of the middle split, so it's a decent first couple of sectors, maybe just steadying back a little bit just to make sure that this is a clean lap, and then go all out for the final attempt through into the heavy braking zone at the end of the overtake straight, as we will call it. Zagova now coming through the final corner of turn 19, and what's it going to be? It's a 25-2 and puts him right in the mix.
Yeah, right in the mix indeed for him as well. Be happy to get into those 25-2s. 5.5 minutes to go in this session here. I'm keeping an eye out again on Vilvendi at the moment. This is a team that I've not been able to really speak about much. They didn't have the best of qualifiers last time out, well off the pace from any kind of chance of being a potential runner-up reserve for any teams that drop. But as it stands so far, like I said, knocking on the door of TRT pace here with their 25-2 and 25-4. If you can find a couple of tenths, Gabza could be on the way here for a decent result potentially for Vilvendi, as we now head our way down towards that start-finishing line. We'll see where he comes as now he crosses the line right now, and look at that, 25-2 himself now. So as I said, knocking on the door of TRT here.
Indeed, yeah. Unfortunately, his teammate though, Nat Burney, just a little bit down after the middle split, so he is boxed. But that's exactly what they needed, and the second of the 2 drivers improving substantially, and it's a very good effort indeed from Gabza. Simbarox one now he's coming back into the pits. He's not happy with his latest attempt. Nico now down in P10 on a 25-6, but just over a 10th up. Needs to find a bit more in this final sector. In fact, Sebi, he's actually over a quarter of a second up down in P12. He needs to improve substantially as well. So these two down 10th and 12th at the moment. What can they do? Can they each propel themselves further up the grid? Can they get into the 25-2s and make this a real, very tight sessions? 25-4 there for Sebi. Where does Nico go? He actually does a 25-5. So maybe they both need to find a good 2 to 3 tenths in their final runs if they want to stand a chance, I think.
Yeah, Angry Sharks a little bit down the order at the moment, and they haven't got much time left either. 0.3 of a second found for the team, for the player in 8th place at the moment in Abashala Ward. Looking pretty decent at the moment with a 125.339. Trying to head his way now towards, it's going to be a complex set of corners, a very clumsy set of corners then at Miami as well, using all of that overtake that's available and using all of the energy that's available now, of course, because with the change in the ERS deployment in these engines, these drivers have had to adapt fairly quickly to what has been a formula that has been the same since 2017. So now heads his way 2014 rather, 2017 since we started this particular model of game engine. Now we're heading our way towards what is going to be a complex set of corners now to really try and pile on that pressure towards the front runners. He has missed his apex though by a mile, he has, through that final corner then, and he has boxed now as a result, but he was a couple of tenths up, so there's definitely pace to be found in that car at the moment, but he hasn't got a lot of time left, 3 minutes.
Indeed, yeah, might have to just give a quick in, get back out straight away. Prestinato coming through the final couple of corners himself. He's a 10th down, and in here now boxes as well. Seme is 6 tenths down. He hasn't got enough time, though, to get back to the pits and go again. So I think as he's doing, he's slowing right down. Cool those tyres down as much as he can. He's got a full battery to his disposal and just go again. That's going to be his strategy, but obviously he's in the driving seat at the moment with that 124.962. And, the only driver currently to be in that, Thomas and Zagova, the only other 2 drivers out on track. They're going to be trying to warm their tyres up as opposed to cool them down for Semi's sake. But, yeah, the rest of them are going to have to get out very quickly into the final 2 minutes pretty much of this first lobby, and it's still all to play for.
Yeah, still very much all to play for. Plenty of opportunities for improvement here as we've got Semi, this is the ET8 driver now heading his way towards the start finishing line. He's going to be going a little bit early here, actually, to be fair. He looks like he wants to give himself plenty of breathing room. He might get caught up in a little bit of traffic here if he's unlucky. Going through into turn number 1 then. Looks like he's going to try and mount the curb over 2. Doesn't try to bottom out too aggressively on these cars. Remember, the ride height on these can be raised slightly in comparison to the old generation of F1 car, and he might get blocked here as he now heads his way towards the next set of corners. Very, very late minute here, but I've got an I think there's maybe a call from ETA. If he doesn't improve on this lap here, he may try and argue that he was blocked from that one.
Yeah, the fact that he's half a tenth down certainly got a case for that as well. A little bit of understeer, certainly visible there, going through 6 and 7 in particular. So Semi not going to be happy with the car, whoever it was that was in his way. But he carries on nonetheless into the heavy braking zone of turn 11 through this very tricky little 180-degree stadium section. Of 12 and 13, now into the double chicane, obviously the chicane of 14 and 15. You've got to ride the curve there as much as you can without unsettling the car too much. It looks like a decent second set, and he's gained some of that time back, but he's still over 200s down. So Semi still might have a case here if he thinks he's has lost some time. He's got a car in his way, gets well out of the way as he comes into the final heavy braking zone of turn 17. Spot the braking point, turn the car in, hit the curb on the inside, catch the apex very nicely from Semi. He's done all he can. He is the current provisional, well, pole sitter, let's say, and he just about improves in the end to a 9.57. So it still could be a case, but I think he'll take it nonetheless.
Yeah, he'll argue he could have gone faster, to be fair, but I think ET8's position is looking pretty solid considering he's the only person in the 1 minute 24s at the moment here. So ET8 looking to take another classy qualifier if they can help it, and obviously take the learnings from what was a very up and down season, to say the least. You've seen something.
Yes, it's Ward spinning on the exit of turn 3. And that is him done and dusted, unfortunately. So it's going to be a 25.339 at best for Wards, and that is his qualifying attempt over and done with. Just took too much curb, I think, and the car just was very, very unsettled. A lot of drivers aren't really improving, which is a surprise to see. Predestinato was one of the final drivers to start his lap time. He's half a tenth up, though, through the first sector. Yeah,
looking fairly strong at the moment as well. I'm just keeping an eye out on I think it was Predestinato, maybe. He was about, see, it was a tenth and a half up for him. Yeah, he's looking pretty decent at the moment to be one of the big winners of this one here. Chucks the car through that left-hander as well, and that Berry can't go any further than his 25.294 for Vilvende. Is now ahead. Here he comes now, Predestinato, through the clumsy set of corners, underneath a couple of bridges before he goes across the underneath the other bridge here, and then heads his way down what will be the overtaking straight. 26 thousandths down, though, in the second sector, so he's lost a bucket of time in that first sector here. So what is going to be the marker for Predestinato? Will there be any further improvements down towards the back? Simbarox 1 can't improve, 25.5 for him. We've also got GT10 well down the field with a 25.5. That is a very unfortunate set of events for them, and Nico Sos can only go 25.4. Here comes Predestinato, and he goes to a 25.050. So another person knocking on the door, 24.9, as I think Thomas has just hit the wall for TRT. So that's his lap over and done with, and I think we're not going to be seeing any further improvements, and doesn't look like CB is going to be improving either for the Angry Shark. So that will be it for lobby number 1. And one thing is for certain, ETA looking very happy indeed.
Indeed they are. I'll tell you somebody who's not going to be happy, and that is Pierre. He was a 10th.5 up, and then final braking zone, lost the rear end of the car, and that was his lap over and done with. He could actually have been challenging Predestinato for a 25 flat sort of area. So yeah, unfortunate for Pierre, but yeah, Semi and ETA certainly very happy at this moment in time.
Yeah, pretty decent stuff indeed. We'll be going through with Lobby 2 in just a few short moments' time. Don't go anywhere, because we've got another selection of teams looking to try and to get into Season 8. Don't go away. Lobby number 2 taking part in just a few short moments' time. This one, of course, we've got TRS, we have FST, we have FRT, we have QDR, and we have TTN. Immediately out of the blocks on this one, Bobberts, we have got FRT looking to try and re-qualify for this one. Fastest stay true, always knocking on the door. But of course, we've got some pretty quick upcoming teams looking to snag their spot here. So a little bit of pressure here on FRT and FST.
Certainly is, and well, obviously FRT last season, 4th finish overall for them. What was a very topsy-turvy season for them, which did improve towards the latter stages, especially with, you know, they won 3 races in a row. Sorry, the last 2 races, I should say, and 1 sprint. I've got that mixed up, sorry. But, yeah, you know, winning the last 2 races, they certainly picked up some form. Kind of, you could say, at the wrong time. But at least it sort of shows, you know, that they are race winners, and they've proven that, you know, time and time again. And fastest stay true, again, even themselves, you know, they did win a sprint race and one, you know, proper race victory itself as well. So again, you'd arguably say that, you know, they deserve their place, but obviously any team can say that. They've got to do it where it matters, and that is here in qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely as well. Just keeping a firm eye on the 94 of you who are tuning in for this qualifying. Thank you to every single one of you for your support in this one. We're having a look in the chat here. We've got Ryan in the chat supporting FRT here tonight. Ethan is here for QDR. We've got Admire for TRS here as well, which is going to be really, really fun indeed as well. So it's going to be pretty fun indeed. So situation is that we know that FRT and FST are probably going to be the favourites for this particular lobby. The question that's on my lips, though, is that are they going to be able to capitalise and put in a performance close to ET8's pace? They were the only team to have a driver within the 24s.
Indeed, yeah. I mean, it's well, it was a great lap by Semi. Obviously, he had that. Well, in the end, just about a tenth of a gap over Predestinato, who got that lap in at the end. But yeah, yes, like I said, yeah. Can anybody match what they did in that first qualifying session going into this second one? I think it can be done. I think a number of these drivers certainly can get close, if not better, if I'm brutally honest here, Jota. But again, they've got to perform under the pressure, knowing that they've got 3 or 4 opportunities here, 3 or 4 laps to get whatever best time that they can, and think, have I done enough, or am I going to be disappointed and have to bank on my teammates dragging me along? And well, but time will tell in the next 20 minutes or so.
Can you tell that we are trying to sort of break the time at the moment and trying to fill it, because we're still waiting on people joining at the moment here, but we have got a lobby set up and ready to go here. One thing I'm looking forward to in this particular lobby in terms of drivers, though, in this one, Bobberts, is AKP Adrian, a driver that was so up and down in terms of form. Now with this new generation of car, an opportunity for a bit of a reset for him.
Yeah, Adrian, I think I said it numerous times last season how he was a driver for me that I thought he could do really well. He could perform, and he was coming to the top of his game in some respects, and just unfortunately, just sometimes he showed it. You could see the talent, and sometimes it was just what's happened. Where's it gone? It was such a inconsistent is probably the fairest way I can put it, sort of season for Adrian. So there was one race I think he should have won. In fact, he probably could have done. But yeah, it's a new season. It's a reset for him. See what he can do. Obviously, with these new types of cars, with the battery aspect as well. Obviously, it's yeah. I'm keeping a firm eye on him. Is one thing.
Certainly keeping an eye out on them as this one as well. We do have the 8:30 lobby coming up after this one as well. If anyone is going to continue watching onwards, and I hope you do so, we have got another entry here for All Elite Racing Team looking to try and snag another spot in WOR Legacy. FVR, though, a team that has really capitalised on what has been some seriously growing form. Of course, the team, I believe, who have also absorbed none other than the other Spanish outfit themselves that finished second place last season, I believe, FVR. So they are a team that we're going to be keeping a very firm eye on.
Yeah, we certainly will be. There's certainly, but you could potentially even say a potential title challenger, for one of the top 3 spots, at least you could say. And but again, just like everyone else, they've got to qualify. Obviously, AERT. How many times have I nearly messed that up last season? And I'm starting again as a continued with it again. But yeah, AERT again. A team that we all know very well. What can they do? But same with likes of Valaris, HLR, and everybody else. What can they do? What can they bring to the table? What sort of performance are we going to expect from these? They've all got their ideas. They know what times they need to do. If they've watched that first lobby, they're kind of thinking, are we there? I said, yeah, I can definitely do that. Or is it a case of, where can I find this extra tenth or so?
Yeah, of course, KP Adrian for fastest stay true is alongside Spiga tonight, so that should be one to watch as well. Federico Spiga with some serious pace out there as well. I think their reserve driver, if I'm not mistaken, was it Polly for FST as well? So that's a pretty decent lineup, actually, to be fair, from FST, who are looking to try and qualify once again for the tournament. So opportunity knocks anyway. That's your 8:30 lineup. Back to the 8 o'clock lineup here. We're getting going in just a few minutes time here. What is the expectations of TRS, QDR, and TTN, do you reckon?
Well, obviously everyone's got their everyone obviously wants to qualify and get themselves in, but they've just got to make sure that they get 2 lap times on the board. And it's the same with every team, though. It's a case of, you can't just... If one driver messes up, then you know that's it. It doesn't matter what the other one does. They could put the best lap time of the entire qualifying session, which will unfortunately just count for absolutely nothing. So yeah, it's just make sure that... again, I'd probably say my recommendation would be, this is probably for everybody, but this, especially for them, is just get a banker on the board. Doesn't matter what sort of banker it is. You've then got a delta. Just go and then improve that and just stretch it even further as obviously the track rubbers in. It gets quicker. Or it should do at least anyway. And then go from there and see what you can do. Go hell for leather.
Go hell for leather, indeed. People are just getting into the lobby now, so we'll be getting going in just a few minutes' time here. Fastest stay true, then. They're a team that have been up and down the field, up and down the racing field in WOR Legacy. What are the expectations for them? Surely, alongside FRT, they've got to look for qualification, though.
Oh, certainly. Yes. Sorry, just replying to Luke. Apologies, asking if we're good to go. Indeed we are. But the likes of, obviously for the two teams, obviously, that were in last season, their target is pretty simple. Get in and be as high up as they can. They want to be as high as, that top seed as they can, so then they can get the car that they would certainly deem to like. But they've got to, get the two good lap times in now. And then, just let the rest of it play out as is. They know what they need to aim for. 24.995 is the quickest lap time by Semi in the first session. They know what the target is. They now just need to know to match that with the two drivers, and they know that they're there.
Precisely that. Just waiting on the lobby to get going. It should just be about getting going in just a few seconds' time now, as the lobby is keen to get going here. Let us know if you are watching here live tonight. Thank you again to every single one of you tuning in for what is going to be, no doubt, a very exciting qualifying event as we now reach just about halfway now through this qualifier. We are have another 18 minutes ahead of us here to determine who is going to be going through to the main event that takes place, of course, in not a short distance amount of time, around 2 weeks, I believe, before we get going for this one. More on the calendar in just a bit. So, situation report here is that these drivers have got, I think people in Lobby 2 have got a little bit of a precedent to, understand what they've got in front of them here, haven't they? You've got the likes of FST and FRT who now know the benchmarkers immediately are ETA. If they know they can get into the 24s, they're going to be very happy.
Indeed, and arguably as well, if they get a very low 25, kind of like what Predestinato did as well in that first session. So high 24s, very low 25 is kind of where they'll be thinking, and they think, job done. We've got through. We can sort of relax a little bit more. It's like I said, from that first session, top two teams will be thinking, we're pretty much there. Just keep a little eye over our shoulders, but obviously, the teams that were third and fourth from that first session. So VMV in this case, they were third. They're based on the other times are updated for me at least now. Finally, they were third overall after that first qualifying lobby. So they will be looking over their shoulders a little bit to see what some of these drivers in this second lobby can do, as we are getting underway for this second lobby. 18 minutes, 3 or 4 qualifying laps from these drivers. What can they bring for us? Will they better Semi's time? Will we find, will somebody not set a lap time? There's another thing.
Yeah, there's another thing as well. In order to actually qualify, you need to set a lap time, and we know that when you're under the pressure, there's always every chance you could end up making a mistake and find yourself out of qualifying. So it's important that the drivers go at the fastest rate of knots that they possibly can. All the drivers very keen to get going here by the looks of things here. So let's have a look and see who the most upfront driver is, and I believe that to be the FST man of Frederick Spiga, now heading his way towards the back straight in the clumsy corners, if you will. They're going to be the first person to set the barrier here. Now, we're not going to be expecting the timing boards to come alight here, of course. The track will continue to evolve over the next 18 minutes, but if they can set at least an early precedent, that's going to give them a lot of confidence.
Certainly, if they can get that, low 25, even as a banker lap, they've got to be thinking they're in a very, very good spot. But that's easier said than done. We've got 19 tough corners, you could say. Well, no, some of them aren't tough at all, actually. Some of them may as well just be acceleration zones. But, we've got a number of high-speed braking zones, especially, obviously, you've got turn 1, turn 11, and turn 17 in particular. You've got the fast-flowing first sector. As we're about to start this, and Jota, since I failed because it didn't happen, why do you take us for a lap this time round?
Yeah, why not? As we head his way up towards turn number 1 then, it's going to be a fairly clumsy set of corners if you get this one wrong. In the old generation of car, you could see the car easily would snap outside, but not on this generation of car. Of course, try to reserve as much electrical energy as you possibly can with this new generation of F1 car through 2, through 3, and then through up into what is effectively one long turn 3. Then turn 4 is actually down at the back end of this straight, believe it or not. Despite the fact you could classify that technically as a corner. He now heads his way towards what is going to be, an important set of laps here for FST. They want to set that early precedent. They're a team that if they end up having that early precedent, that early boost of confidence, they end up taking that such a long way. So if they could get themselves up into the sort of low to mid 25s, they may end up knocking on the door of ET8, of course, as they head through the left-hander, then the right-hander, clumsy corners through the left-hander underneath the bridge, and then power his way out of the corner here. He's got plenty of electrical energy at his disposal, so he'll use overtake all the way down his back straight. You can see on that steering wheel that yellow bar depleting at a rapid rate of knots as he now heads his way towards that final corner heading there towards turn number 17. Technically, it's technically not the final corner, but it's close enough because the rest of them are flat, aren't they? Through 18 and then through 19. He'll come across the line. Early precedent set of 125.5. It's not bad, but it's not great.
No, that turn 17 was not the best, locking up and just missing the apex by a good mile or so. But there goes Nate Rotax there, going to 25.2. That's exactly the sort of lap time you're sort of aiming for to get yourself into a good position. Adrian only P3 on a 25.5 of his own. Time's coming thick and fast. Cole did not set a good lap time. Here comes, excuse me, Karen Bounce across the line, joins the 25.5 club, but is the better of the lot into P3. Andy, the final driver, but he's actually backed off completely from his lap time. So two drivers not setting for a lap time in these early stages, and it is 25.281, pretty much what we saw in the first lobby there as the best banker lap time.
Yeah, duplication effectively of the first lobby in this one here, which will probably instill a bit of confidence in the drivers that we've got a little bit of an equal sort of footing here at the moment. But at the same time, it might give a little bit of confidence in the drivers that didn't, or the teams that didn't perform as great in that particular lobby one, because it might just mean they might sneak a position in. But it's all going to be about that track evolution then over the next 13 minutes. What an effort though from Nate Rotex, a great effort to get into the low 25s at this early stage. He could be knocking on the door of the 24s here.
It's certainly a definite doable aspect for him. It's just make sure you could continue improving that pace that he's got there with that very first very good banker lap time. Bit of a spread though, after that. I mean, Raphael with a 25.4, and then a number of drivers in the 5.5s and 6s, so very close there in what we'll call the mid pack. As it were, but some of those drivers may be a little disappointed. Adrian and Fetish Spegas separated by 1/1000th between them two, so very tight at these, like I said, in these very early stages, and no surprise that the two drivers that did not set lap times are out immediately for their second attempts. Cole will be the first to do that, as hopefully he can not invalidate like he did last time.
Yes, if you are new then to WR Legacy Division and you're just trying to figure out what we're all about, where have you been, by the way? It's been 8 seasons. We've been here for a very long time now, trust me. My voice is really feeling it now. The teams are all here representing, of course, all the drivers are rather representing their individual teams, unlike what you might experience in normal F1 league racing, where they're just driving in the constructors' cars. These drivers are representing their own individual teams that they are represented by joining and taking part in league events such as this one, and as a result they're trying to do the best that they can in representing their team, qualifying for what will be the 8th season of WR Legacy Division, coming off of the back of 4 direct championship wins in a row for the Team Shizou and the Shizou Cedar Igniters, double world champions on either side of those names, 4 in total. Anyone going to beat them this season, do you reckon, Boberts?
Well, bias would say no, but in terms of being a middleman or a neutral, I guess is the best way to say it. There's certainly, 88 will be, after their very disappointing Season 7, will certainly want to kickstart things off with a bang here for Season 8. They have got disqualify. Oh, dearie me.
Oh, dear.
Well,
we've got a bit of a situation with Fastest Stay True. Fetish Spiga has been disqualified. Now, we are not familiar with the rulebook in terms of disqualifications, but if he's spun in the pit lane and that is the end of that, then that, I think, might mean Fastest Stay True are out. I don't think that is going to be it, unless we get a lobby restart. Now, it's all down to the administrators in this situation, but if not, that's Fastest Stay True out of WR Legacy Division as far as I'm concerned.
I think what's happened there is Andy was about to start his lap. He has just braked quite a bit just to make sure he doesn't get in his way, but he's on the exit of the pit lane, and I'm guessing that's what's caused it. There was no other driver behind him, so he wasn't exactly holding anybody up. So I think for Federspiegel, he will... obviously, there'll be proof of this, he'll record it, and I think he may take part in Lobby 3, but obviously the administrators will decide on that. But I believe from what I could see in the mini-map is that is indeed what happened, as Cole sets a 26.1 as his only lap time at the moment. Andy now coming through turn 17, heavy braking, like I said, into turn 17. Bit of a wobble on the exit there. The car complaining for rear grip with his tyres are screaming for help. But it's a 25.6 for Andy, so gets a decent time on the board. Joins the, he's just behind Ragnetto and Speed Demon. But yeah, it's P7 at the moment for Andy.
Yeah, good lad as well. We've got a bit, I think within the community got a big love for TRS Andy as well with that 25.667, puts him 7 thousandths of a second behind P5 and P6 respectively at the moment as well. We'll keep an eye out then on what's going to be happening with Neti Rotex at the moment. Nate Rotex, I think it's probably Nate, isn't it? Let's be honest. 11 thousandths up in the second sector. He's finding time even further than that. He's 25.2 with 9 minutes to go. He's certainly going to be knocking on the door of the 1 minute 24s if he gets a blistering turn 17. We'll see what it is as he turns into 17 right now. Oh, missed apex, probably approached it a little bit too fast. As you say, their car complaining on the rear, and it actually darts into the pit lane. So definitely got more time to find here for Nate at the moment. Keeping an eye out as well on Raphael, looking pretty strong with a 25.4. 25.503 at the moment for Karim Banz as well. Decent effort from him. And there is Adrian, the aforementioned man himself, at 25.518. We'll get a little bit more information on what's happening with Frederick Spiegel, and I think one would suggest that if he has been unfairly disqualified, that he will be taking part in Lobby 3.
Yeah, I certainly would think so, as just on board with Adrian. He's over 3/10 up on his current lap time. Speed Demon goes P2 with a 25.342. Good effort from him, but I think we're going to find our new leader in this lobby, and indeed we are. Adrian goes top with a 25.221 there. Lost a bit of time actually in that final sector. Could have been a 0.1 for him. I think just a little bit of an issue, maybe turned on just the rear, just complaining slightly for traction on the exit of 17. But either way, Adrian, does what he should be doing, and or at least in this qualifying session, and he's top of the pile.
Yes, fairly strong indeed for those. So situation out there at the moment, well, what's happening? So we've got two people within the 25.2s down at the back. We're looking at Suzuki himself down in P8 at the moment, 25.9. Plenty more pace to find, no doubt, in that car. We'll see what his second sector split is like after these clumsy set of corners. He now heads his way down through here. Oh, not particularly strong. Needs a couple of bites of the cherry. Going through the end of the straight, then going through the clumsy corners, through the left, through the right. He's completely bottled that one. He's abandoned it entirely, not comfortable at all. He's got a car just behind him, actually. I believe that one actually to be Speed Demon, but he's on an invalid lap as well. We've got Ragnetto as well, also on a lap. What's his second sector looking like? I don't know at the moment, actually. If anything, it looks a little bit on the slow side. Chucks the car through the left and the right-hander. I think he's abandoned on this occasion. We'll see if chucks the car through the left-hander. Is he going to pile drive? No, he is actually going for it here, but he is 3 seconds down at the moment. So Adrian will be boxing at the end of this lap. He'll be happy with that one as well. Sets the early precedent for fastest stay true, because if Fred Spiegel has another go at this one, 25.2, they'll be happy at least with one of their drivers.
Indeed, yes, and yeah, like I said, of course it would have to be Adrian. He is the driver that everybody knows. Obviously, he's been around for some time now, so it's good to see that he's hitting that form again, even at these early stages. And yeah, 6 minutes to go, looking pretty good. But Nate, the provisional early pace setter, now going to start his latest attempt. It's a case of now with just over 6 minutes to go. Do you complete this lap, or do you have it as a banker-ish sort of aspect for you, and then just go again at the very end? That's the thing when it's you're trying to do. If you mess up a qualifier in one of your runs, is that you're kind of then left in limbo in terms of, do you then set this lap time, or do you, like I said, yeah, do you go back to the pits and go again? But let's see how he is through the end of this first sector, sort of in the low 29s you want to be, and it's a 29.1. It's a good start, half a tenth up.
Yeah, not too bad at the moment here as he looks to try and continue on with the form of these runners here. It's going to be fairly critical that they get this one right as he now heads his way down towards the back straight. Of course, no energy left really in that battery, completely depleted at the end of it. So the question is what are these lap times going to look like? Chucks the car through the clumsy corners here, left, then right, looking pretty strong actually, just on the very ragged edge of the track limits. Puts the power down early, chuck the car into overtake, and then head his way all the way down the back straightaway. He'll want to try and maximise the amount of time he can get on this back straight. 125.2 is what he's looking for. He was at one point at the front, but beaten by Adrian for fastest stay true. He'll be hoping to get into the high 24s if he can, because that could set an early precedent to knock on the door of ET8's pace. Chucking the car, comes around the corner right now. 25.1, can't get into the 24s, but he reclaims the top step.
Indeed, Jed. Here comes Raphael now to the line, and he now takes the quickest time and puts another 10th on that. It's a 25 flat there for Raphael, and well, he's just not really out of nowhere. He was sort of there or thereabouts, just a 10th or so shy of the first couple of runs, but he certainly found it in that third run. So excellent time there for Raphael. Karim has come into the pit. He's a 10th half down on his attempt. Andy now coming into the final corner, going to burn that overtake boost point. In fact, though, he goes into the pits not happy with his lap time. So no one else out on track at the moment apart from Suzuki, who's about to start one with 4 minutes to go. This will be his final attempt.
Yes, this should be the final attempt here because he's not going to have enough time to get around box and get back out again here. So this is a little bit out of sequence with everyone else here, but the team got full confidence in Suzuki, currently with a 25.9. Chucks the car through one, misses his apex there through two, mounts the curb, does not too bad on these curbs, this generation of F1 car. And on the previous one, you can bottom out pretty quickly and spin going through 2 and 3, but looking fairly strong now as he heads through 4, and then he'll want to try and keep his car planted as he possibly can through this left-hander. Get on the brakes as late as you dare. Shoot the car through the left-hander. Very well planted indeed, actually, to be fair from Suzuki, but he's actually lost 0.006 of a second. It looks clean, but it's not quick.
Yeah, it could have taken a bit more exit, well, got a bit wider, I think, through turns 6 and 7 to set up a straight line the car up a bit more through 8. Kind of took 2 bites of the cherry to turn in. Into turn 11 now through turns 12 and 13 in this very tight, twisty, difficult section, as you'll find here in Miami. Clobbers the curb there on the inside on the right hand side, but gets through it, and once again doing the same thing. But we found just over a 10th, pretty much a 10th and a half through that middle sector, but it's only going to kind of put him into the 0.7s. It's going to have to be the damnedest of final sectors that we've ever seen if Suzuki wants to put in a decent time here to, you know, trouble those in the 0.5s and 6s. But the car complaining though for rear grip on the exit. He might have just overshot these tyres just a little bit, and to the start finish line we go. It's an improvement, but it's not by enough. It's a 25.9, and that is Suzuki done and dusted.
Yeah, done and dusted indeed. There's going to be no further advancement then, we think from that driver, because of course he can't really make any further improvements with the amount of time remaining. So with that one, he remains down in the depths of the 25.9s, and that is pretty much I think a dead cert that it's going to be a reserve spot for his team with a lap time of that calibre. Raphael leaving the pits, 25.0. We're going to be knocking on the doors of the 24s, one would suspect.
Yep, certainly one would suspect that, and the first man to try and do that is going to be Adrian, as he's starting his final attempt now. Was provisionally the quickest driver a few minutes ago, but then got toppled by both Nate and then Raphael for good measure, so he's got 2 tenths to find to get back up into, well, the fastest of this lobby at least so far through this first sector, coming through turn 7 now into turn 8. A little bit wide there, the entry into 8, car complaining for understeer, but it's still a good first sector. We're 700s up, we're going in the right direction as we're now just burning that battery as much as we can into turn 11.
Yeah, using us all of that electrical energy, and then derates with 0% batteries. He heads into the corner, it recharges very quickly though, of course, in this set of corners with the low amount of speed you're taking. The engine tends to harvest all of this energy. You can see he's already nearly up to 50% on his battery power. Very late on the brakes through the clumsy corners, through the left-hander, and then down the back straight, up to 60% battery now as he heads his way down this back straight. demonstrate what will be an overtaking zone if we ever go racing here again, but not in this particular season. More about that in the calendar after this qualifier. Heads into then the final couple of corners then, final 3 corners. Technically this is the only corner because everything else of course is flat. So he heads his way now down towards 17, 18 and then into 19. As he comes across the line right now, Adrian, will he improve? He will improve, but only by 12 thousandths of a second, and that is the end of fastest stay true for now. We may see Fedispiga later on.
Indeed we might, but he's going to be a little disappointed with that, I think it's fair to say, because there was more time on the cards there for Adrian. But let's see what happens for his teammate Karim now to the line. He's currently P6, stays P6 with a... Actually, in fact, he invalidated, so never mind, I will just take that back. Andy, a 10th and a half up at the moment, coming into turn 17. There is actually a car going across that finish, and that's Regnetto, who improves to a 25.295 and goes 4th quick as Andy slides the car into turn 17. Drifting as much as he can, and the time that he had gained, he's now unfortunately lost because of that. So Andy, unfortunately, is done for this session.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that for him as well, as he loses that time. It was actually a 10th and a half up in that second sector, as rightfully pointed out. So, disappointing to say the least. Suzuki coming now into the final couple of corners here. We'll see what his turn 17 is like. Again, he's hit the apex, but he's just not maximising the use of the track, and it's costing him dearly. Comes across the line right now. Will he improve? He won't. He's down 0.05 of a second. So Suzuki will finish with a 25.9. Karim Ban's down 3 seconds. No improvement from him then. 0.3 down and invalid for Speed Demon. No improvements there. Adrian's on an in-lap. Raphael comes across the line to finish with a 25.0. So no improvements whatsoever in terms of the 25. Anyone getting into the 24s, but very low 25s for Raphael and Nate suggest that they're going to be very happy as a team.
Indeed, yeah, Nate improved on his final attempt. Didn't get ahead of his teammate, but certainly, you know, as a combined aspect is what you need. And between the pair of them, they've done a very, very good job. Yeah, didn't get some 24s, but the next best thing is a very low 25. And if not one but two drivers do that, you can't argue.
Yeah, it's not necessarily just about the pace. It's also about making sure that you set yourself up for success by having teams and drivers very close proximity. In the end, both of their drivers separated by only 43 thousandths of a second. That is it for lobby number 2 then. We have lobby number 3 coming up in just a few short moments time. Don't go away. We're going to wrap this one up and we'll determine who our 10 teams will be fighting out to try and take Shazoo away from a 5th possible title. Don't go away. Lobby number 3 then, folks, as we head our way to the 8:30 lobby. A couple of minutes before that one will get set up. But 6 teams are definitely going to be part, potentially a 7th. If we do end up seeing one of the FST drivers make a return, we'll get more about that one from the stewards a little bit later on. But one thing is for certain, Valaris, Helad, All Elite Racing Team. We've also got the team at FVR, we've got NGO, we've got WRL as well. 6 teams here. All Elite Racing team will want to requalify. FVR, after absorbing the runners-up last time out, of course, the runners-up from season 7 AMR, of course, they acquired the team, throughout this sort of mid-season break. They've got an early precedent here to try and qualify because they know that they've got potentially drivers on the roster that could potentially turn out a victory.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, and yeah, a number of those drivers, like you said, will want to repeat that for them, and what a roster that it was as well. I mean, they won one race all season, which was actually, if I remember, it was a 1-2 back at Kota with a fantastic performance and strategy call. But they were so consistent all season long, picking up podiums here and there, and even if when they didn't, they were like top 5 predominantly, and they were certainly. For me, the package of the season minus the winners of SCI, obviously, and in terms of that, we didn't expect it to an extent, and that is of no disrespect to them. That was just a fantastic performance, and at least for FVR's sake, with acquiring these drivers as well, they all want to have a repeat of that and maybe even challenge for a title.
Yeah, precisely that one, isn't it? So it's going to be fun to see what they can do in that one as well. Always fun as well to see All Elite Racing team who want to make a claim. They took, I think, the Kick Sauber last time out, so they'll want to requalify.
Yeah, I mean, Kick Sauber is a very strange one, though, isn't it? I mean, you're certainly not going to be missed out on the out on track if you're in if you're in a Kick Sauber, but still. They'll expect to want to get through once again, but it's still anyone's game, and I think, Jota, I can confirm that Faster Stay True will be participating in this Lobby 3.
Yes, and to be honest with you, that doesn't surprise me in this one as well. So the lap time that was put on the board for Fastest Stay True was a 25.519. Will now be struck off. Say struck off, it will be replaced with an improved lap time if they do manage to get it. Otherwise, that 25.519 that they initially got before the disqualification will be the one that carries. So as it stands so far, Fastest Stay True, they would have, I think if I'm right in saying they'd be P6 overall at the moment, but of course now there is a potential that could potentially change, so we'll see on that one as well. I'm going to highlight that as well just for my own personal record. We're still waiting on the other times going into the board, so we can get an understanding of what the top 10 currently look like, so I'll give you a little bit more of an update on that one in just a few short moments. It gives us an opportunity to talk about the other teams taking part in this one as well. So Valaris, Helad, NGO and RL getting involved in this one as well. Early precedent setter, they'd like to try and sneak into the top 10, and never a better opportunity to qualify for WR Legacy Division than now, because of course usually it'd only be about 6 or 7 spots. Now we've got 10.
Exactly, yeah. So there's a lot more to play for all of these teams here, and they can easily, each of them, have as good a chance as every single other one. And again, like I said, different now, obviously coming from lobbies 1 and 2 into lobby 3, they now know what they need to aim for. They know what the time is that what sort of combined time they need to, each of their drivers need to get to qualify into for the main show, which starts, I believe, in 3 weeks' time. So, yeah, it's a case of, do that and then just sit and wait and kind of think, have we done it? Doesn't matter what position we qualify, but can we get ourselves in for, even in some cases, a debut season?
Yeah, precisely that one as well. So just keeping an eye out on the team people that are going to be coming in for this one. In terms of the people, we've got Fedi Spiga back in then for FST. He's going to get another opportunity to improve on his lap. We've also got other people coming in as well. I'm just keeping an eye out on the names of the people that are coming in. Here's the names for NGO. Hadrick.
Yes. It's no. I'll be honest, Jota. Some of these drivers I've not heard of. But even though I've been around as long as I have, some of them I have no idea. But to look at some of the names that are in this lobby, the likes of Caden, Riss, Melwin, who we saw a number of times last season as well. A driver who at times I was very impressed with. Certainly has a lot to prove here though tonight.
I'm just having a look at the moment at the lap times that have just been filled out, and I am getting some very interesting results arriving on my screen at the moment. So let me just type these in. Let me figure out what's going on. So as it stands, it shouldn't be of any surprise to anyone that ET8 are currently on top at the moment. They've got a combined lap time of 170.007. Then you've got QDR in second from TRT, VMV, FST, IRT, FRT, GT10, ASRT, and TRS. Now we've got a couple of the big wigs. We've got FVR going in there. All Elite will be looking to requalify. You know, that could potentially put TRS, ASRT at risk. GT10 certainly at risk as well. But we are talking minuscule amounts of time separating the teams at the moment. It's brilliant to see.
Yeah, definitely right there. I mean, yeah, I'm just looking at it myself. So yeah, IRT, FRT, GT10, and ASRT. That is such a tight gap. That is that's 400 separating those four teams and four positions. And those little differences is what makes the difference in them getting through or not. One thing I have noticed, Jot, I don't know if you've seen at the bottom, is a return of somebody from Lobby 1 that I was not expecting, but maybe they think they were actually held up.
I must have missed that one, and I'm looking down at my screens at the moment, and I am looking for possibly RSC Semi. So it looks like to me, ET8 have been given the green light. They've been given the freedom to have another go at this one, despite the fact that they have the fastest time on the board at the moment.
Does he just want to prove himself again to think I can go quicker than this? This is what it should have been in the first place. But what are the rules regarding that though, Jota? In terms of, so he's got that lap time on the board. If memory serves me right, he loses that lap time now, doesn't he?
No, I think he keeps it. I'm not sure. I think I'm under the impression both him and FST will have their lap time sort of set, but they will have it replaced if they go faster, because it's not deemed not to be their fault that they weren't able to either participate or improve or whatever on their lap. So we'll get full clarity on the rules on that one. But one thing is for certain is that we do have two people now rejoining us. We've got ET8 will be rejoining us for Lobby 3, and we'll also have an FST driver as well. Lobby is still just being set up, folks, so keep an eye on that one. But as it stands so far, looking particularly good for all the drivers around us at the moment, because it's getting increasingly exciting for who's going to be in the top 10, because I think we're talking hundreds of a second here.
Yeah, like I said, 4 teams separated by 400ths of a second, and if that's as close as it's going to be, then, excuse me, I'm all for it here for Season 8, and, when we start properly in 3 weeks' time. But you've got to think, for QDR in particular, second place at the moment, they've got to be thinking to themselves, we've done it. We are into Season 8 of WR Legacy Division. I mean, and kudos to them. It was a fantastic effort, and getting ahead of the likes of TRT and even FRT as well. I mean, they're the surprise one for me at the moment, along with GT10, that they are not higher up than what they are.
Yeah, it's precisely that at the moment. They've got plenty of opportunities to, capitalise on what is a great opportunity for racing here, because there's 10 spots, but it looks like a few teams not been able to show not been able to flash all their cards, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, there is that as well. It's a case of, do you think, like I said earlier on, unfortunately, like when I explained it, at least on my own perspective, that, were they a bottle job on doing this qualifying, and maybe, for their drivers that they didn't get the lap time that they wanted. But nonetheless, that's what's done is done. It's a case of now just hope and pray in their case as to make sure that these remaining 6 teams, and the 2 teams that are going again as well from lobbies 1 and 2, don't go quicker, especially for the likes of Faster Stay True.
Yes, precisely that one as well, and that could make a big difference, of course, going through the rest of this particular qualifier, because, of course, as good old late great Murray Walker would say, anything can happen, and it usually does. We will be getting going in just a few short moments, running about 8 minutes behind as we just try to get the lobby fully organised and set up. Sure, Luke is working all over it at the moment to try and get that one over the line. Gives us an opportunity to quickly review once again of what we've got coming up in WOR Legacy, because of course we have the calendar, and the calendar looking pretty sharp to say the least. So we're taking part, of course, in Miami for this qualifier. Then we've got a couple of weeks off before we get over to where else but Monaco to start off our season on August 25th. We'll take a week off before we head over to Italy for our first of the sprint race weekends, then Canada and Abu Dhabi to round out the first 4 events of the season. Then we've got our next 4. It's Great Britain, it's China, another sprint race there, Qatar, transfer week on October 20th, and then Spain for the Halloween weekend, and then Sao Paulo to round it all off on November 3rd for the sprint, for the third of the sprint races. We round it all off with in Japan, the United States, Australia, another break week, then Mexico City for the final sprint race, and where else but Saudi Arabia to wrap it off for the Christmas break. So, you know, it's a pretty quick calendar, this one, isn't it? 14 tracks ready and raring to go, starting off here in Miami before we take a trip over to Monaco.
I mean, what a first track that is to have. For these drivers, for the teams as well, it's going to be Monaco. I mean, it doesn't get more challenging than that. The tight, twisty, street-natured circuit that, last season when we did this had some fantastic, had some good racing, to be fair, actually, and some surprises as well. But these drivers are certainly going to be in for a hell of a ride. Going into that in 3 weeks' time, but it certainly is an interesting calendar, Jota. We have a mix of everything, some classic circuits, but also some circuits that have not made it onto the calendar. You'd be thinking, you wonder why. Likes of Spa comes to mind. We know it's a legendary circuit, but I suppose you have to chop it and change it and have a bit of a mix each season.
Yeah, precisely that. At the end of the day, it's all about making sure they've got a nice reflection of multiple different events ahead of us. So it's all going to be about making sure that the drivers have got, a nice clean run of potential tracks ahead of them. Still waiting on the lobby to get going here, folks. I mean, look, I'm looking forward to obviously Great Britain. I'm looking forward to the Italian sprint race as well. That should be really fun as well. But the one thing that is the glaringly obvious situation here, if we're perfectly candid on this one here, Bobbers, we are going to face super clipping as a problem here.
Yeah, it's certainly going to be one to just keep an eye out on. And after doing the sort of like little fun test race lobby that WR did a couple of months ago now, that was an interesting one to watch. With all the clipping and this, kind of as it is in real life, and drivers just constantly using their battery and then just losing it all, then just getting re-overtaken again, just like I said, kind of like in real life. So it's certainly one that they'll all be getting used to, if not gotten used to already, but it's just using it wisely. But unfortunately, some of them, I don't know what wise is, unlike the two of us. Unfortunately, we're old timers.
Precisely that one as well. Just got the lobby. Looks like some of the drivers are starting to ready up here, so it should be particularly fun, this one would suspect. So I'm having a look at the moment at the splits at the moment. So as it stands, this is what I'm seeing at the moment. So ETA are currently top with a 170.007. Then you've got QDR 170.198. So they are 0.191 seconds behind ETA. Then you've got around about 3.5 tenths behind ET8 and TRT. Then half a second it's VMV. Fastest Stay True are currently 5th, and they're 7 tenths back. But remember, they could end up actually having an improvement on lap times here, as well as we've got more people joining the lobby here. I'm wondering what's going on in this one as well. IRT 8 tenths back, and then 1,000th of a second separate IRT from FRT at the moment. It's blisteringly close. GT10 at 8th, ASRT 9th, and then TRS rounding out the top 10. TTN will not make it in this event. They are 1.8 seconds down, so they are definitely out as it stands. But of course, we've got the other lap times coming in from VLS HLR, AERT, WRL, sorry, FVR, and then, of course, NGO. And, of course, remember, we do have a repeat lap coming in, potentially for ETA and certainly for the driver at FST as well. So, opportunity to improve the laps for those that have been impeded or else unfairly placed in a position that is not deemed to be their fault. We're about to get going for this one here then, Bobbert. So, situation for Lobby 3, pretty clear cut here. FVR, AERT need to get their skates on if they want to qualify. FVR especially after absorbing the other Spanish outfit, the runners-up of last season in AMR.
Indeed, yes. Like I said, by the fact as well that they've taken on a number of their drivers as well. They know the target. They know what they need to do. Their target will be, can they out-qualify ET8 and just get one over on them before the actual season even begins? So that'll be an interesting one to see. And obviously, like I said, AERT, former Legacy Division racers and obviously team aspect. It's a case of what can they do as we are about to get going. I have a sneaky feeling we might be missing a driver. I could be wrong, but I'm sure that we should have an even number, even with the 2 extra people doing it.
Yeah, we'll get a bit of clarity on that one as well as we're about to get going for this event. In fact, let's go over to the live screen of it now here because we are just about to get going. I'm just having a quick look on the paddock chat here as it looks like... so forgive me, you catching me live as I try to read the situation here. And I'm wondering if we are potentially missing Hadrick, and if we are, that might be NGO are down to 1.
Yeah, I mean, we'll load in properly now to see if that is indeed a case. The session time is wrong.
So we'll be restarting this anyway, and as you can see, it is approaching dusk. So actually, this is not going to be the lobby. We're going to have to restart it. This is Luke now who's going to have to admit fault on this one. So why don't we cut away? FVR then are going to be leading the way from AERT, and then of course the other 4 teams want to get involved in this one. We will be restarting this lobby, no doubt, to get the time sort of stamp on right here. Wouldn't be World Online restarts without at least one restart in the qualifying event, would it?
If only things could run smoothly, but obviously that's easier said than done. And the fact of running a little late is one thing. Who is that coming out on track and not just retiring? In fact, that's 2 drivers coming out on track and not retiring. So somebody didn't get the memo. One of them now has, so it just leaves Vinny to retire. But yeah, well, it's just one of those things. It happens, and on this particular occasion, Luke just changed the track, but did not change the time of day. So that's strike 1 to Luke for this season, not just this qualifying session. Unfortunately for you, Luke, you'll probably have a word with me after that, but who cares? But nonetheless, we will get going as soon as we can, everybody, and hope not keep you waiting too long to see who are going to be the 10 teams to take part in the Season 8 of Legacy Division.
Precisely that one. So we to continue on with our little break in between the events happening at the moment, we are going to actually take a very brief break as we just try to get to grips with what's going on at the moment. So tell you what, we will take a break, actually get a glass of water, and we'll be back with you for more continued coverage, and we'll get Lobby 3 underway in just a few short moments. Don't go away. Well, the breaks, the shorter, the sweeter. It looks like we've got the lobby all finally functional and everything. Confirmation we are missing Hadrick from NGO. So NGO looks like they're only going to be racing with qualifying with one driver. So Bobberts, put it bluntly, if they can set a lap time that's around about 45 seconds, then they might have a sneaky chance of getting in.
I would be even contemplating that. I would be saying I want to see that 45-second lap time. Just, yeah, if it's only going to count the first sector and a bit for them. But, yeah, unfortunate there for NGL. Obviously, Hadrick as to what the situation, why he's not here. Only he knows that. So obviously for his teammates, I feel absolutely sorry for him and in fact for his team in general. So unfortunately, I think, yeah, from our teams here to qualify, we're going to lose one by simply not having a second driver. So it is down to the rest of them and obviously those who as well who are going again.
Yes, of course, just a quick clarification. In fact, I think we're actually missing another driver here because we had 13 in the last lobby, but now we're down to 12 and I'm just trying to figure out who it is.
Semi's gone. It's Semi.
There he is.
There he is.
So, full clarity on the situation. 13 runners then in this one. Of course, we have our 6 drivers that are going to be taking part, 6 teams that are going to be taking part in Valaris, in Helad, in AERT, in WRL, in FVR, and in NGO. But we also have repeat laps coming in as well for semi for the ET8 team. And, of course, Frederick Spieger also managing to get another opportunity here for fastest stay true. So important set of laps coming in for them too, but certainly for the other 6 teams that are now out on the field and ready and raring to go here, because it's all going to be now a clean run to the end.
It certainly is. This is it. This is the final lobby, the final dance. 17 minutes to go now in this session, and yeah, all the pressure is on these drivers. They know what they need to do. They know the target lap time that it is to pretty much guarantee a spot into season 8 of the WR Legacy division. And yeah, I think for the likes of ETA and QDR, they can certainly, and even arguably TRT as well, they can probably think that they're through and they've done what they need to do. But for the rest of them, it is crunch time. It's either a waiting game or it's a case of just do what you can out on track, get the best lap time that you can, and hopefully your teammate can back you up on that.
Yeah, precisely that one as well, as we're just waiting on the next episode. Whoa, I think my computer's got a bit funny. There we go. So situation report is as follows then. We've got our top 10 teams down at the bottom of the screen. You may see their situation is pretty clear cut at the moment for the following teams: ET8, QDR, TRT, VMV, FST, IRT, FRT, GT10, ASRT and TRS are currently the teams that are going to be qualifying. Lap times down just beneath that one, but of course that will update as this session progresses, so we'll keep a very firm eye on the situation as that develops. So situation then, as we see the first lap times are going to be coming in here. I'm actually not following the person that's going to be setting a lap. I'm actually looking at the moment on board with Cole as it stands here. Now Cole is now heading his way down towards turn number 1. Chucks the car through the right hander, very well planted indeed.
Yeah, apologies. I was actually on board with the lead driver, which was Caden. But we'll go on board with Cole, as I was just interested to see what Caden would be doing, as well as reading the chat that apparently we have an answer on Hadrick, and he might be joining the session late on. So all might not be lost for NGL, but we'll certainly wait and see. As it's a 29 flat for the first sector there for Cole, and as a banker aspect, that's certainly up there with some of the best that we've seen when people were doing it later in the session.
Yeah, Cole representing AERT, I believe, in this particular lobby. As he heads his way now through the left-hander, wants to try and keep as close as he possibly can to these corners here, because the clumsy corners they are, as AERT's Caden coming across the line, 25.316. Looking pretty decent as a banker lap there, I think.
Certainly was, yeah, but wow, there you go. There's a banker for you. And that's Melanie getting into the 25 zeros, arguably it's a 25.099. but it's still a 25-0 nonetheless, and that is the best banker lap we have seen so far across the 3 lobbies. Cole now coming through turn 17, the final proper corner, through 18 and 19 now. Can he get close to his teammate? Can he challenge Melvin at the top of the timesheets? The answer is he goes P3, 900s behind his teammate, but it's a good start for AERT at least, and obviously for Melvin coming up in P2. Pascal goes with a 25-4 into P4 for himself. A lot of drivers have gone a box though at the end of their first runs, a lot of them making mistakes or invalidating. Vinny now coming to the line, he's going to set his lap time. Coming to the start-finish line now. What's it going to be for Vinny? It's a 26-0, so it's a banker at least. It's a time on the board, but a lot of time needs to be found.
Yeah, plenty of banker laps going out there at the moment, but nothing of any sort of significance out there at the moment. So what's the situation out on the field at the moment then, folks? So I'm keeping a firm eye at the moment on the likes of Zeku. I believe is on an invalid lap at the moment, so nothing of any significance at the moment out there, but that 25-0 from FVR's Melwin immediately showing what the Spanish outfit is trying to bring to the table.
Yeah, certainly is. Interesting, Zeku is actually on the wet tyres. Now, I don't know about you, Jota, but it's a dry track, unless he's got something different. But yeah, I see a dry track there. So I'm not too sure what's happened with that one, unless he's accidentally clicked balanced rather than softer, and has only got 3 sets of softs as opposed to the 4, and as to why he's done that. But we'll never know. I guess only he knows what he's done there. But yeah, early stages, 6 times set on the board. A number of drivers coming back out onto the track straight away. As to what Semi does, I can only assume that he's going to wait till the end of the session to go out. Maybe, could be wrong on that one. But yeah, early days, 12 minutes to go. But yeah, FBR risks. He's seen obviously what his teammate can do. Can he now go and match him?
Precisely the question here on this one as well. Keeping a very firm eye on what these lap times are going to be. I'm going to be keeping a very firm eye on Caden, because Caden has immediately left his pit box and he wants to get straight back on it again for AERT. Both the AERT drivers are actually within pretty sort of touching distance here of around about 900ths of a second. It's exactly what the teams need, that level of consistency that comes from having both of your drivers in very close proximity, but they've got to be quick as well, and that's the critical thing at the moment. They're still about 3 or 4 tenths down, both of their drivers, on the fastest lap times that have been set so far in the day.
Yep, certainly have. And, well, yeah, obviously we know they've got plenty of time, they can improve on that, but yeah, they've got to find that time where they can, and it's better to do it sooner rather than later. HLR's Fleur is on his 2nd attempt. He actually has a car in front of him, it's in the way, and that arguably has actually put him off there. He's missed the turning point through 6 and 7, and I'd say he's lost a good tenth and a half from that. I'm not too sure who that was, but Fleur certainly has a case here, as he's been blocked on this particular run, but he's going to carry on now, going into turn 11. Like I said, on this second run, gets the car turning nicely there, cuts the inside of 12 as much as he can, straightens it on the exit there into 13. Bit tentative down the throttle, wasn't quite full throttle there from Fleur, unless that was just maxed out, but he's flinging the car in left and right, and it seems to do a decent job. 1 minute 0.7 middle sector, it's not the best that we've seen. Good 2 tenths down at this particular stage where you might want to be, but nonetheless we're going down into the final heavy braking zone of turn 17. Pick your braking point. Where is it going to be? About 125 meters from the apex of the corner. Turns the car in nicely, gets the traction pretty well actually compared to people we've seen in previous lobbies. But here comes Fleur to the line, and it's a 25-4, a decent attempt considering as well, like I said, he was blocked at the end of that first sector.
Yeah, precisely on that one as well, so we'll see what the other lap times are going to be looking like as well. Keeping an eye on Chris G as well. Chris looking to try and get himself within touching distance here, with still no visitation from Hadrick at the moment, so it looks like NGO's still going to be going in with only the 1 driver, but Chris looking to try and at least set something on the board here for HLR as he comes across the line. 25-5-6-1 will put the team in 13th place overall, so still got more time to find here of HLR.
Yep, certainly do. They've got a bit of time to find, but again, still got time, plenty of time to go on and prove that. Caden is on an improvement on his second attempt. He's only 300s up though after the first two sectors. Hopefully he's got some more time to find in this final sector. He's not really going to challenge Melvin, but obviously this is for his own team's sake. And in the end, it's a tenth and a half. A good final sector there from Caden. It's a 25-170. Very good lap there. It's kind of what AEI team need to do. He just needs his teammate now to back him up on that, and they should be through comfortably and not have to worry about the rest of the session.
I'm not sure at the moment what NGO are doing, but they've got Zeku at the moment as Melwin comes across the line with a 24.916. It's a great lap, but Zeku is currently reversing over the line here, and I'm hoping NGO aren't sort of playing a joke here on this particular tournament, because yeah, that is not particularly helpful, and he's nearly getting involved in accidents with other drivers out here at the moment as well. I'm sure the administrators are going to take a very dim look at this here.
Yeah, just got on board with it myself, and I mean, I've got no words. I'm not going
to give him any more airtime. I can't be bothered with that. We'll keep an eye out on what happens with NGO at the moment, but it looks like to me NGO have perhaps just decided to bottle this particular tournament because one of their drivers decided he didn't want to show up, and the other one obviously just likes to take the mick. Caden then heading his way down the back straight here, 25.170. There'll be no improvements here as he nearly actually bins it, to be fair, getting in pure frustration there. Legion BG97 P4 for him. We've got FVR Risks comes across the line, 25.363. That's important here because that means now both of their drivers have set a lap, and that, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, 363. Where does that put them? There's the change, and it looks like to me we have a change in the lead because FVR have now gone P4.
Indeed, Melwin does not complete his latest attempts. He goes back. Oh, no, sorry, he's just finished his lap, hasn't he? Obviously, he did at 9.16. What am I on about? But yes, that's them promoting themselves up. But obviously, Risk would like to try and find more time if he can on that matter. But Vinny now is coming to the end of the middle sector. Currently down in P9 out of 25.6, the slowest of the times that have been set so far. But there's this middle sector, I think, when we were watching previously, where he could certainly find a bit of time as he flings the car through. In fact, actually, he's down this time, isn't he? Yes, he is. He's nearly 4 seconds down. Ignore just what I was just been saying for the last 30 seconds.
Yeah, not particularly good stuff here at the moment. Full confirmation, by the way, that ETH QBR-TRT should be automatically qualified by the looks of things. As it stands here, we'll see what the rest of the lap times are looking like, though. Here, Pascal from across the line, 25.208 is what he set last time. Is there going to be any improvement for him? I wonder. No, that's into the pit lane. He's done with this one as well. Other lap times still yet to come in at the moment. We're still waiting on Leon. Still waiting on the lap time from Semi and also Fed Spiga as well. So they are looking like they're going to be sort of breathing down the next potentially. It looks like here, by the way, Caden and Melwin leaving exactly the same time. They've got their own interpersonal battle here, haven't they, to try and top the standings. As it stands so far, it looks like we're going to be battling for the fastest lap time of this particular qualifier.
Indeed, and yeah, Melwin certainly has got that already at the moment with that. Yeah, that 24.916. It's a good half a tenth nearly, well, just over 400s quicker than what Semi did in the first session. I think for Semi's sake, because obviously he was only blocked on his final attempt, I think he only gets the one run. That's why he's still in the pits and has not come out yet, as opposed to Federspega, who did do one lap and is able to come out. He's now on a lap with less than 6 minutes to go. And will hopefully try and do better than, obviously, before his disqualification. From his lobby coming through, turn 6, 7, 8, gets on the powerhouse this first sector. It's solid. It's at 29.1. Not the quickest that we've seen, but maybe his time's in that middle sector.
Yeah, so Frederick Spiga is looking to try and improve on his last lap, which was a 25.519. So it's a critical sort of set of laps here, because the difference between what could be in and out here is only going to be hundredths of a second. As they stand fast, they stay true at 6th overall. So FST do qualify for their second WRR Legacy season in this season 8 qualifier, but they'll be hoping to sort of solidify that a little bit here. They can find 3/10, it could be breathing down the neck of sort of FDR pace, which would make them very happy indeed at the moment as well, especially in a tournament that is so openly spread at the moment, because you've got your sort of fastest teams in the likes of Team Shizou or Shizou Super Igniters and ET8 Esports, but fact that the midfield is so widespread offers some great opportunities here. Fedspiegel comes across the line, and that is a lot more like it. 25-2-4-4 puts him in very close proximity to his teammate, and that moves FST up to 4th.
Indeed, that's exactly what he needs to do, and I think it's fair to say that's them through into season 8. So yeah, so well done to Frederick Spiegel there. Obviously the pressure was on, considering obviously, you know, having that disqualification, but he's got the job done. It's a decent lap time. Probably could find a little bit more in his final run, but he knows now that there's a little bit less pressure on him. Coming up, obviously, into his final 4 minutes. Melvin now coming to the end of the middle sector. He's only half a tenth down of his personal best. How's Caden again? And like I said, these two were close together. He's actually just up over half a tenth, so Caden could be closing that gap between the top two for the, well, outright fastest lap here in Lobby 3 and potentially overall.
Yes, it's going to be really fun, this one here, as we see coming across the line here. No, Melwin has had enough. He's not happy here. Will Caden decide to bottle this one? He certainly will. That doesn't surprise me in this one. He actually invalidated his lap in the end, did Caden. I don't think Melwin and Caden were going for this one. It was more of a sighter. They've got more opportunity to get a faster lap time on the best part of the circuit in around about a minute's time. Plenty of opportunities here. Well done, Fedspiegel, by the way. Of course, found 0.3 of a second on his fastest lap, which puts him, sorry, more than that, actually, 0.5 of a second. But gets FST up to P4 overall as well, and actually beating FVR as it stands by a very short margin of around about 0.9 of a second. So FST very happy with their qualifying performance once again.
Indeed, yeah, and again, this just bolds the fact that you need both drivers to set, you know, good lap times. I mean, FVR, yeah, Melvin's got the quickest time. He's got the quickest time overall, but his teammate Risk he's 4.5 tenths off his teammate, and he's a little lucky that his teammates perhaps got that lap time in, or else that he certainly might be struggling. But yeah, the pressure could have been on, so at least for their sake, he has got that time on the board. So, you know, some drivers now already coming out for their final attempts. Some are just getting themselves wheeled back into the pit, so we'll have to get a move on. Who is the lead driver? Is in fact going to be Vinny.
Vinny indeed. We'll see what the lap times are coming in, by the way. Just keep an eye out, by the way, on ET8's Semi, by the way, who's now out and doing his one and only lap. You're absolutely spot on, by the way, who didn't get the full qualifying occasion. It looks like he's only going to get the one lap, as did Fedspiegel on this one as well. Vinny will be setting on his way at the moment. I'm actually trying to figure out which team he's in, because he's not matching any of the criterion that actually meets here. I think he might be WRL based off of the brand of the car, which certainly looks like a very interesting set of colour combination of the sort of off blue, purple and orange. So 25.667 for WRL at the moment through him.
Indeed, yeah, he's actually not on a lap at all at the moment. He's just going for another sighter lap, as it were, and just putting more laps and more miles on these tyres for whatever reason, but that's what Vinny's decided to do. So on board with Chris G now, who is going for it because he's using his battery, he's using his overtake mode. This is his final attempt, and he's down in P9 at the moment. Some time to find, but after going on board with him earlier, I don't see why he can't not do it. But in through 6, 7 and 8 now, coming to the end of this first sector, what's it going to be? We're actually just over half a tenth down.
Yeah, over half a tenth down here for Chris as well, just trying to see what lap time he's in for at the moment as well. I think that is HLR's driver at the moment here, as he tries to make his way up. His teammate Fleur up in, I think it's a 25.440 at the moment. So situation for them is pretty clear cut at the moment. 25.561. Forgive me, I am doing maths at the moment, with Fleur on a 440. Puts HLR currently 12th overall at the moment, and down by, what's that, 39 thousandths of a second from TRS, and not much more than about a tenth behind Angry Sharks.
Indeed, yeah, and unfortunately for Chris on this lap, it's not been a great lap for him. He's actually over a tenth down on his current best, unless he's going to have some form of monster final sector like Caden did before. It is going to be him over and done with. He actually found some time in that final sector. That's twice now I've said that, and twice it's happened. So he finds a little bit of time, but now he's down to his teammate, who's coming through the first few corners, but there's a fair few drivers ahead of him, none the least, which is Legion, currently P5 on a .335 at the moment, nearly a tenth up. coming into turn 17. Chucks the car. He's gone a bit too quick, a bit too deep into turn 17. That could cost him some time. Coming to the line, he uses the rest of that battery to his disposal. Does he improve? By 1/1000th he does.
Yes, that's what he's in that from Legion as well, keeping an eye out on Vinny as well. Semi comes across the line, by the way, 25.043 for ET8. If I'm not mistaken, that's actually not any faster than the lap time he actually previously set, if I'm not mistaken. So I think that will be it for him on this one as well. Melwin, though, will take the honours of having the fastest lap time in all of the qualifiers, and FVR will be happy about that one. He comes across the line, and he goes even faster. What a lap time that is as well from the team at FVR, setting themselves well within the margin with a 7.67. That boosts them all the way to second.
And that Risto's P2 with a flat of his own. That's the even quicker again.
Whoa!
Caden spoils the FVR 1-2 party in the lobby. Goes back into P2. Frederick Spager goes 1/1000th behind Semi in the end. So a great final attempt for FST. And even Pascal got into the 25 flat. So lobby 3 is the place you wanted to be. That is where the quickest times were. But a 24.7 from Melwin. Hands down, kudos to my man. 2/10 quicker nearly than the next best driver.
Yeah, just trying to figure out what the situation is for AERT, because we've got a 25.007, but I am waiting on the other lap time as well, full confirmation of that particular lap. Excuse me, because I'm not particularly familiar with the names, if I'm perfectly honest with you. I know it's Caden and Cole, isn't it? So Cole is the one who managed to get a 25.230. So 25.230, where does that put them? Oh, straight to 4th overall. GT10 might just be sneaking in here as it stands, but we're still waiting on the full confirmation of those lap times. So we'll get back to you in just a minute or two on that one as well. In fact, it might give us an opportunity to send it over to the calendar for a minute, because one thing is for certain, it has been a magnificent event here. We'll get the confirmation of the 10 teams that will be joining the Shizou Cedar Igniters in just a minute. Again, a reminder that we're at Monaco for the first round in a few weeks' time before we head over to Italy for the first sprint race, Canada, and then Abu Dhabi, Great Britain, then China for a second sprint race, Qatar, then transfer week, Spain, then the Sao Paulo Brazilian Grand Prix, our third of 4 sprint races before Japan, United States, Australia, our final break week, Mexico City Grand Prix, the circuits, Manuel Rodriguez, finishing it all off with that sprint race, of course, and then the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, December 15th. Wow, wow, wee, wow. We're getting the full confirmation of the final lap times coming in. We'll be with you in just a minute about that one as we head back over to the live scene of this one. I'm actually just going to put the calendar right above it and then do that, I hope. So that will give us at least a bit of an understanding of what's going on at the moment in terms of our final 10. We're just getting the lap times confirmed. But again, what a calendar that is.
Certainly is a great calendar. Like I said before, what a way to kick off as well after tonight in Monaco in 3 weeks time and ending it in Jeddah, and then obviously we've got the remaining 12 rounds in between, and well, there's a lot to look forward to. There's a lot, obviously the fall sprint races as well to go along with that, and well, I don't know which track I'm looking forward to the most, to be honest, Jota. I mean, you know, we've got some classics, we've got some new tracks, we've got a bit of everything.
People can forgive the slightly crude nature of how I am editing these graphics at the moment just to get things over the line. There we go. So situation report as it stands is that these are the teams that are going to be qualifying, but we are still waiting on the final lap times to come in on this one as well, because I still haven't actually got VLS fully documented at the moment. So VLS with a 25.093 and a 25.334 for them. HLR did a 25.431 and we're waiting on the other lap time. I think that might be a 25.561. AERT, what a event it was for them. 25.007 and a 25.230 I think it was for them, so they'll be happy with that. WRL was a 25.569 and their second lap time was a 25.778, and then FVR 24.767. What a lap time that was, wasn't it? And a 25.034. When we put all the lap times in front, FVR have just suddenly gone to the top. They now are the fastest team in the qualifier as a result of that performance from both of their drivers. Absolutely fabulous. We're still waiting on HLR's final time here, and I'm wondering if there is potentially a question mark about the block that occurred, because you saw that block, didn't you, which ended up resulting in some question marks.
Indeed, yeah. There was a block, and it did actually, yeah. I was trying to think who it was now. Apologies on that one, but it certainly did. Yeah, cost a good tenth and a half for the driver in question. Again, apologies, I can't remember who it was that got blocked, but whether or not that person or that driver gets to go again, I'm not too sure, unless it doesn't matter because they're already qualified. But obviously, then they could argue and say, well, I could go quicker and gain more time from that, and actually potentially promote my team to a higher ranking, to a higher seed aspect, and for the car choice, which, does matter to these teams. They do know what cars they do and don't want to use.
Just to put into perspective just how quick FER are, by the way, with this particular event, 169.801 was their final lap time addition. ET8 was 170.007, so FVR, the only team to get into the 169s. Nice.
Yeah, it's good to see that somebody did, and now can see that HLR's time has now been put in. Just waiting for, at least on my side anyway, for it all to be refreshed and the positions are sorted. But yeah, FVR ET8 will be happy. They've got the job done what they need to do. I've got a feeling that FRT have just, if my maths looks at this and I've worked out correctly, have just squeezed in.
Yes, I think that's the situation as well. So just to confirm the final stand-ins here on this one. So I think VLS 25.5, yeah, 23.34, yeah, that makes sense. HLR 24.431, yep, and a 5.33, 2.3, and a 007. Nice for the AERT team. Yeah, that makes sense. So all in all, I think that is our 10. I think if my math all works it out right here, it's FVR, ETA, QDR, AERT, TRT, VST, but FST for some reason are a lot lower than what I've got them as. What's the time for FST? 25 for FST, 25.004. No, there it is. So that's the problem. So they now rise to 5th overall as a result of that one. So then it's FST, TRT, VLS, VMV, IRT, and FRT have managed to just sneak in. The teams that have just been knocked out of this event, Grand Track 10 will be our first reserve team. They finished 11th overall. They were 18 thousandths behind FRT in the end. And then you've got ASRT, the Angry Sharks racing team. In the end, they were only 39 thousandths behind FRT. So very, very close for that final spot in the top 10. And then going down even further, TRS, HLR, and WRL wrapping out the top 15. Then you got TTN, the slowest of the actual runners. But in the end, by the looks of things here, Bobberts, we're wrapping it up here with FRT just behind IRT by 1,000th of a second, but they've beaten GT10 by 18 thousandths of a second to snag that final spot.
Indeed, last season's 4th place finishers overall, just scraping through, just shows what difference, a few months can make, from season 7 to season 8. But they've got in. That's the main thing. They have got in. They're going to have to put up with whatever car it is they're going to be given, being the last placed, obviously, seeded team, as it were. But they are through nonetheless. They've just done what they needed to do to scrape through. But yeah, certainly some surprises in there. Like I said, QDR, I think the biggest one for me, coming P3 in his qualifying session. Fantastic effort from them. I'm interested to see what they can do now.
Yep, 100% agree. So, if you are interested then, folks, your final seeds are as follows. The Shazoo Seeder Igniters will return as the first seeds. FVR will be the second seeds. ET8 will be the third. QDR will be the fourth. AERT will be the fifth. FST will be the sixth. TRT will be the seventh. VLS will be the eighth. VMV have managed to make it for the first time. They are ninth seeds. IRT will be the 10th seeds, and FRT will be the 11th seeds. Our reserve drivers, pretty close in as follows. Our 11th seed team will be GT10. Our 12th seed team will be GT10. 13th seed ASRT. 14th seed TRS. 15th seed HLR. 16th seed will be WRL. 17th seed will be TTN. Magnificent. Doesn't cover it, I think. Between all of these drivers, they have made an absolute effort. FVR have shown that they're going to flex all the muscles that they can. The only team to get beneath 170 seconds for this qualifying. Fantastic stuff indeed. We'll see you in a couple of weeks' time then for the Monaco Grand Prix. From myself, from Boberts and the rest of the team here, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care. Ta-da!